guys, so I wanted to do a little pros and cons video of doing Rover. I've been doing Rover for about 3 years, Rover and dog sitting. And so I just wanted to go over some pros and cons because I get asked all the time if I like it, if it's worth it. And I hear so much controversy about it. Some people love it, some people hate it. I myself have my pros and cons. I've taken a break from Rover before because of it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my cons list because my cons list is a lot shorter than my pros actually. So one of the cons, of course, you hear about it all the time, is that Rover takes out 20 to 25% of what you earn. So that really sucks, but you kind of set your prices for that. And they even changed it on the app, like later they updated it where you put in the price that you want and then the price that shows on your profile, because the price that shows on your profile is what they pay before the 20% off, and then the price that you want is after the 25%. This is what you're getting. This is your baseline. So I have a number that I won't go below to watch dogs on Rover because it's just not worth it to me at that point. Everybody has their price. Some people are higher, some people are lower. So you just set it to what your minimum payment is that you would want to go for. That's going to be your baseline. And there's different factors that you can switch up and kind of play around with. So the 20% really sucks, but they can tip. So tipping is not required. I never expect anybody to tip. I never expect 20% or 25% of a tip. It definitely is very, very appreciated. For me, it's really just kind of like making up the money that Rover takes out. So it doesn't really, for the person paying, it's like you're going above and beyond because you're giving extra when you don't need to. But for me, it just feels like, okay, it's just making up that 20% that Rover's taking out. So, tipping's whatever. I never expect it, but it is nice that they have it in the app and that it is an option. So one thing that kind of sucks. Oh, well, when you first start, you have that $35 background check, and everybody, I feel like, it's like, is the $35 worth it? I don't want to pay for a background check. Like, I don't know if it's worth it. It is worth it. I have made my money back so much more than that $35 that I paid in the beginning. So the background check being $35, like, that's not, you'll make that back surely within your first booking or two, depending on what you're doing. Dog walking is going to take a little bit longer because those are lower costs. But if you're doing boarding or dog sitting in their home, you're going to make that back with like your first booking. So that is worth it. I know when I first started, I was just very sketched out about that. Another thing that is a con. So even after doing, you do meet and greets. Even after doing a meet and greet, sometimes that dog is crazy. And you didn't see it at first in the meet and greet. The dog is so sweet because they're with their owner and everything is great, and you love the owner and you love the dog, and I have dogs of my own, so I'm like, great, they get along with my dogs. And then you get them in your home without their owner and they're a completely different dog. I've had dogs that get very protective and aggressive. I watched a Belgian Malinois one time, which that's a whole other thing. I will never watch a Belgian Malinois again because for me, they are too much energy, and that's just, I can't watch a Belgian. They're just too much. The only reason why I did watch that Belgian to begin with was because my husband was home, so he was able to help me. So I knew that he was gonna, at the time I was working full time at a boutique, so I was gone during the day. So the only reason why I did that was because I had my husband and I knew that he would be able to, walk the dog, and he ran with the dog. My dog. My husband loves to run, so he was able to run with the dog, which Belgian Malinois, they have so much energy that they need to be ran. Like they need to be walked and ran, and they always just want to play, and they never rest, they never sleep. So for that reason, will not be watching Belgian Malinois again, because after I picked up that dog got so possessive and not aggressive, but when we had people come over, so if like somebody would come in, the dog would go absolutely nuts. And Belgians, they're a little bit scary if you're not somebody that is used to that or is prepared to walk into a house that has a dog lunging at you. It's a little scary and it's very stressful. So the dog was fine. So as soon as you would go up and sniff the dog, let the dog sniff you. Perfectly fine. Little angel after that. But that is just not something I want to deal with again. So that is just something that is a con. Always, 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 always do meet and greets. I have done some without meet and greets, and I've regretted it almost every single time. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm just like, sure, I'll watch the dog tomorrow, and then I get the dog and I'm like, oh my god, this dog is insane. And we get through it, you know. It just sucks because I have my own dog, so when that happens, it's like a little overstimulating because I have all these dogs. But meet and greets, sometimes even after a meet and greet, it doesn't always go how you think it's going to go. So yeah, those are my cons that I have written down. Okay, so pros. So a reason why I go with Rover majority of the time versus just finding people on my own, because sometimes I have found people through Facebook. That's like my number one spot where people, I see people post that they need dog sitters. Rover insures you, I believe it's up to $25,000. So if something were to happen to the dog, to you, to another person, to something, I'd have to look back into it, but you are insured, and Rover can help you cover the cost. Rover can help you, you know, with the owner and just figuring stuff out. You just have that kind of like safety net of the app helping you. So that is really nice. Your background checked. So a pro, everybody's background checked. It's very nice. I feel safer knowing that everybody had to go through that. So that is something that's nice. It's safe through the app. So when I'm texting people back and forth, like, it's just a safe space. I can report them if I think they're doing something shady. I can leave reviews on not only the dog, but the owner. And if the owner was not good to you, you can write that in a review. It has like a meet and greet little thing that pops up that says schedule a meet and greet, and that's really nice. Yeah, you can send pictures through the app. The app is just a safe place to be able to message through. So that's really nice. They also make a dog profile. So as soon as I get a booking pop up, I immediately go to the dog's profile. I read everything about the dog. I see if they're going to be compatible for me, for my dogs. I see if I like them and see if their schedule kind of lines up with mine, because I've had some people before, when I work from home now, so I'm able to like be with the dogs a lot more. But before, I wasn't able to be with the dogs 24/7 because I had work. I worked 8 hours a day. Some people are not okay with you working while you have their dog. They want you to be off. They want 1,000% attention on their dog, and that's fine. But for me, I have a full-time job as well. So I wouldn't be a good fit for that owner. So if that owner is like, they need to be let out every hour, they need to go on 5 walks a day, they need to do, you know, just certain things that I'm just like, I can't accommodate that. You're gonna have to find somebody else that stays from home, or maybe does Rover full-time and doesn't have a full-time job, and then Rover as a side job. Because for me, this is a side job. So yeah, so I like the profile. You can just read into it and just see if this is something that you want to move forward with. Then, and if the dates align with you, so you can just see, oh, okay, cool, I'm free that weekend. Perfect. So the dog profile, and then I also have a profile that I'm able to put a little bio about my 2 dogs and my schedule and my background with dogs, and that is just so nice for everybody to see. Oh, the reviews. So on top of your profile, you also get your reviews, and that I love. I have all good reviews. I'm so proud of my reviews. And even when I watch people outside of Rover, sometimes I send them my reviews and I'm like, hey, like, here's my reviews. They're also good. Just so they feel safer, because when you're going through like Facebook or texting or whatever it is, they don't have that peace of mind. So I like to just screenshot it and I'll just send it to them, or I invite them to go through Rover, which I have had some people go through it. I'll be like, hey, like, this is my Rover QR code, just go through Rover, you get like $20 off your first booking or something. Some people will do it, a lot of people will not. They don't really like, they're like, no, I don't want to go through Rover. So that's fine, you just kind of, I don't know, figure it out. So yeah, the reviews are so nice, and you can see who has repeat customers. So I have a couple repeat customers on there, and it is just so nice that that is on there, so people can see that people are coming back to me. Oh, guaranteed pay rate. So you put in how much you're going to charge for each service, and there's no awkwardness about like, oh, this is how much I charge, like, is that okay with you? No, it's all on the app. They can choose if that is in their price range or not. Different rates on there for everything, and I don't have to be all awkward and be like, hey, so I charge this much per night, hopefully that's all right, and they, you know, decline or not. That's already set. Also, they prepay, so I don't get the money until after they prepay, but I don't get the money until, feels like forever, until like 5 days after, because it has to go through the bank and everything. So I'm not like, because when I go outside of Rover, I have to ask them, or they ask me like, how do you want me to pay? Cash, Venmo, bank account, when do you want me to pay? And then it's kind of awkward of like, I don't want to be like, pay me right now, and then they're like, oh, this person's kind of greedy, or, and then I risk saying, oh, you can pay me when we're done, and I can risk them not paying me or not paying me the full amount. So just having that safety net with Rover, that just really helps. Okay, so another one is you can turn on or off your services. So for me, I do doggy daycare and I do in-home boarding, in-home boarding in my house. I don't go to other people's houses because I have my own dogs, so I can't take my dogs to their house and sit. But if you're somebody that doesn't have dogs, I would definitely do the in-house, in their house service. I feel like that would be really nice, because you don't have to like have them come to you and worry about your house. They're just in their own house. Another thing that I like is you can turn on or off your services. So I do in my home boarding and doggy daycare. So just for like, I think it's like 8 hours or something. I don't get a lot of those. I rarely get a doggy daycare. I used to get them a lot when I first started, and then I just haven't gotten one ever since. So, which is fine, whatever. I get the boarding. So I don't do dog walking just because for me, the dog walking is not worth it. Like driving to their house, walking their dog, and then driving back. I just feel like the gas and the time that I'm putting into that is not worth what I see on the app to pay. But if you're somebody that is just going to be doing that like back to back, and you can really book out your time and probably make it a little bit more worth it. But for me, dog walking is just not that worth it. The boarding for me is where it's at. I stay in my own home. I don't really have to go anywhere besides meet and greets. So this is not pros or cons. This is kind of just things to, if you're going to start doing Rover or just dog sitting in general, make sure you love dogs. You have to love dogs. You need to understand that they can have accidents in the house. They are not going to be perfect. They are going to get into things. They are a dog, and at the end of the day, it's not always rainbows and sunshines and just cuddles. I've had so many dogs have so many accidents in my house. Every dog is on a different schedule. You need to understand that can happen. I have woken up to diarrhea all over the floor, nasty stuff, throw up, hair, more hair than I already have in my own home. Oh, another little tip. Do not ever not do a meet and greet. I think I've already touched on this. Always do a meet and greet, and you just need to, if they don't want to do a meet and greet, then it's a red flag. Just something I have looked out for as I've done this for years now. I would say those are like my main things. Hopefully I went over everything. I feel like I'm gonna think of like so many other things as soon as I stop recording this. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video at that, and hopefully I went over like the main topics. Okay, thank you guys so much. I hope you like this video. If you want to hear anything else from me, or a day in the life of watching a Rover dog, let me know. I can go over like price breakdowns or yeah. So hopefully I answered a lot of questions if you're thinking about doing it, and thank you guys.